So now we have the butter that's been in the refrigerator for 20 minutes. We're going to pound it out on a potato starch dusted surface. The full recipe you usually do about 9 by 9, so I think I'm going to do about 9 by 4.5. And that should be half the regular width. Somewhere around there. If you happen to have a baking mat with measurements, it makes it convenient. If not, then just grab a ruler. If you have one specifically for kitchen, be best. Otherwise, you'll have to wash whichever one you're going to use in that vicinity. I always like to put some starch on each side, so everything I touch is dusted with starch. A marble rolling pin is very handy. You want to keep that starch on there. As you're pounding, you can tell when it starts sticking. So it's about the proper width. Now I'm just trying to get the 9 inches. Now you're going to take this once you have it pounded out. I always like to keep the shape. So you're constantly, even with the dough, you're constantly trying to keep the shape by using the sides of your hands. It pounds out nicely with a heavy rolling pin. You want to keep it flat. See, it's starting to stick right there. Just want to keep it in a nice rectangular shape. So I just pound on one side if one side's shorter than the other. Okay, so we have about, let's see, 9 inches, perfect. That's okay. My ring made little indentations in there just now, but that's okay too. You just want to get a general shape. Okay. I like to use a baking sheet to put it in the refrigerator on. Let's see. So I'm going to use the same sheet of plastic wrap and place it in this right here. You can also pound it out on the plastic wrap. And we're just going to put that in the refrigerator until it's firm. While the butter is in the refrigerator, chilling again, we're going to roll out the dough. The butter is going to stay in there for about 10-15 minutes. So we're going to I have a heavily dusted surface here with potato starch, and I'm going to dust the top of this with potato starch along with my rolling pin. Which actually my rolling pin never got cleaned from the last time I rolled the butter, so I actually have to clean that off first. I need to just use a dough scraper. Use like a spatula to pick up dough and whatnot. It's great for scraping your rolling pin clean too, as long as you don't have a wooden one. Okay, so that's still dusted. And let's see, we're doing a half a recipe, so the full recipe you roll out to 20 by 10. So I'm going to roll this one out about 10 by 10. A square instead of a rectangle. Half the size is normal. Okay, this is where you need a glass of water or a cup of water. You're going to dip your fingers in water to handle these cracks on the sides. You don't want any cracks. So always keep that moist. Excuse me, timer. There we go. The timer was on for my dough originally, but it firmed up sooner than I expected. Okay, so this side is about 17 inches and that's about 8, so I still have like 1 more inch to roll out. Okay, so we now have the butter. It's all chilled. It's cracked there, but that's okay. It's because I put it in the freezer instead of the refrigerator. We're going to place, now this butter is a little larger than I anticipated. So I'm going to make my dough a little wider because I didn't measure the butter at all. You want the butter to be, I shouldn't have done 5 inches because it doesn't leave any seam allowance. So you want the dough to be a little larger than half the width of the butter. So we're going to do that right there. I'm going to fold it over. You want to fold it over wide enough. See, there's no butter right here, so this is not going to have much butter in it. That's why you trim the ends at the end. So it'll be butterless. Okay, so we're going to close up all these ends. Pinch them closed. And water helps seal them. Use the same plastic wrap to line my baking sheet. Lift up the dough, put it in the baking sheet, and we're going to take this and put it in the refrigerator. So we're going to pound out the dough because we have that hard butter in there. I don't give a particular width on this. Oops. But you're working to create a rectangle. You want a rectangular shape because you're going to fold it up in thirds this time. I like to work to get as long as a rectangle as I can without making the dough too fragile to lift. So 1/4 of an inch is good.